Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. ETFs still show that inflows are massive. On Friday, even though it wasn't so great for Bitcoin, we still had a $301 million inflow. So again, when I'm talking about floodgates, right, we got so many sources that continue to buy hundreds of millions of dollars of the Bitcoin, or I should say more like billions. Because if you add up last week, it was over $1 billion. And today, MetaPlanet also said that, hey, they purchased another 1,112 Bitcoin. They have increased their holding to 10,000 Bitcoin. That is a $1 billion buy. MetaPlanet is no longer playing like second fiddle to Saylor in terms of their buys. He's buying just as much now. Each one of their purchases, the last purchase was 1,000 Bitcoin. Now they're upping it to 1,100 Bitcoin. But the thing is, they can continue to do so because their stock is literally the hottest stock there is. In fact, when they announced that buy, their stock jumped over 30% immediately. So obviously, Japan loves what MetaPlanet's doing. Every time they announce a big buy, their stock goes up, and then they could issue more shares, sell off, buy more Bitcoin, and you can see how it goes and goes and goes and goes. They're following Saylor's footsteps. MicroStrategy or strategy was like that last year. It went on a tremendous, almost 1,000% run because of the same strategy. And MetaPlanet is seeing the same thing. But that's a huge buy. And then you know what? Saylor's like, yeah, I'm not going to let them have all the fun. Saylor also bought 10,000 Bitcoin at over $1 billion. So things are going to continue. All the buying are going to continue. They're not going to stop. This is why Bitcoin is so strong. It's so obvious. A lot of people keep continuing to ask me, well, why are the alts so weak? Why Bitcoin keeps going up? Why the dominance keeps going up? Well, you have people that are buying billions every week. You just don't see the same thing yet with alts. You don't see the same thing, but that may be changing because there are some big news I'm going to share. But this is the reason. Bitcoin is extremely, extremely strong because you have so many faithful companies, investors, countries. Now Pakistan, they might be getting involved. They actually had a meeting with Saylor, or at least their guys did. Okay. So now you got countries getting involved too, right? With reserves, with ETFs, with just legalization around the world. Major adoption. Oh, by the way, speaking of Trump Media now also gets the green light from the SEC to buy $2.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. They raised $2.3 billion, and now they're buying $2.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Again, billions. Billions upon billions upon billions every single week. That's why Bitcoin is so strong. Not going to stop. So, a few more things. Accumulator address demand growth, basically just showing accumulation addresses, and you could see how since January, we did down a little bit. January was kind of like our mini altcoin season, mini peak, and we would come back down from there. But then now we're like right back up. Well, it makes sense because Bitcoin already broke through its previous high. Alts have not, but still, accumulation addresses are going upwards. You got whales, man. This is just astounding to look at. The number of whales that have come in since the beginning of July or January, astronomical. That's why you got to grab a piece before it's all gone. That's what it's showing. And you know, in terms of our movement, there are still a lot of people, a lot of TA analysts that's trying to predict when we're going to break out. A lot of people have been, you know, looking at the Wyckoff accumulation pattern, and you know, a lot of times you look at it, we are moving the same way. Sometimes not exactly, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter, but overall, it makes a lot of sense. You know, Wyckoff accumulation, if you're not aware, someone from Wall Street came out with it and realized that Wall Street itself likes to play games, manipulate people, and through this pattern, that's how they do it. They try to fear people out, they accumulate, and then they allow things to pump. And we have seen this before in previous cycles with Bitcoin. And it was done very easily before because we didn't have billions upon billions being bought every week. And it was mostly just whale and retail driven. Now it's a little bit different. But you know what? It doesn't stop those Wall Street guys to continue to play those games. We see it all the time. We just have to, it's hard to recognize. We just have to see if it's happening. And this one is showing we're done with this phase D. And the next phase is when you allow things to move. And there has been other charts that have showed, yeah, next stop, 120, 130, 150. That's the next leg up. We're all waiting for it. But all these charts are showing right around the corner. Especially, again, you just, if you don't, you know, I don't believe you could just rely on charts alone. But if you look at all the buying, billions upon billions every single week, that's going to cause something to happen. Here's another one that shows we're breaking out of this giant bullish megaphone pattern. And the next stop, 180,000. Maybe that's the top for this cycle. Maybe we don't hit 200,000. Maybe we don't hit 250,000. But 180, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining. That's still a really high target. Although I do think we will go higher than that.